full time whistle. Cork 2-10. Dublin 18 points. Brian Hurley hits the post of that late minute effort. I mean, it was Jesus, like within whiskers, within like millimeters away there. But Dublin have gotten away with it hugely there. Like the full time score is Cork 2-10. Dublin 18 points. Dublin in the end get the victory by 2 points in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. I think as a Dublin fan, I'm happy we've won the game. I'm happy we've come through it. Like,
look at the replay. I think Hanlon saved it.
I think he got a touch on it, did he?
Oh, it's a brilliant save.
Brilliant save. Yeah, like I mean, like I suppose for myself as a Dublin fan, I'm not too sure how to feel about it. Like I'm happy we've come through the game. I'm happy we've won the game, but I think at the same time, there was a lot wrong about that performance. At the same time, like silly wides, even at the end there, Colin Basquel running through, puts it miles wide. Like he had so many options there. He could have kept the ball. He could have set up a goal chance. He could have popped it over the bar, and then that late Brian Hurley chance, would have been just to level the game rather than win the game. But yeah, like as a Dublin fan, I'm happy to win the game, but Jesus, like we're miles off competing with the top teams. But what were your thoughts on that?
No, I think the main thing was the shooting. Then again, like before the game, I would have said 2 point beating. I said would have been a remarkable performance, but I just feel like Aaron, that's a game that got away from Cork. That was it. That was a chance to beat a big side like Dublin. I know John Clear would say it was a very good performance. The lads put everything into it, but looking at the chances we had, the Hurley chance at the end, or even before that, I think Hurley and Sherlock missing so many frees. Chris O'Jones in the first half as well. Like there was so many chances missed for Cork, and I'm kind of gutted, Aaron, to be honest with you. I'm not gutted about the performance. I think the performance was remarkable from the players, especially the defenders and the midfielders. But no, it's a hard one to take. Hard one to take to lose that game. But look, it's we know now that we can challenge the likes of Dublin. We beat Kerry in the McGrath Cup. Like there is positives this year to take, and we have to win our next 3 games now to have any chance of going to a final bout with Derry. But we'll see where it takes us anyway.
Yeah, like I mean, as you said in the first half, like those wides really cost Cork. Like I think there was multiple chances really for Cork. Like Stephen Sherlock was obviously popping them wide. Even at the start of the second half, like Brian Hurley dropped a few short. That big miss right at the end, like before the goal chance where Brian Hurley pops the chance wide, when it was only a 1 point game. Like I think it was there, like it was 100% there for you. And like as a Dublin fan, I'm looking at it and thinking happy with the result, but like mark my words, like Dublin can't keep playing like this. We will get caught, we will get beaten. To say that Dublin are the closest challengers to Kerry or Armagh, Mayo, whoever will be the toughest challengers when it comes to June, July, like to say Dublin are the closest challengers at this moment in time, I think it's just absolute nonsense. Like we look miles off there, like, and defensively as well, just criminal defending. Like I mean, the first goal, Chris O'Jones just run straight through. No, very very poor mark, and the second goal from the Cork wing back, like again, just cut open time and time again. And like that late chance from Brian Hurley, like Cork could have finished with 3 goals today.
They could have even more, like the Chris O'Jones chance in the first half that was saved by O'Hanlon. Like you have to thank David O'Hanlon a lot today. Like he made 2 crucial saves, one in the first half, and that save at the end when it looked like Hurley just hit the post. It was just a tip onto the post by him. Outstanding goalkeeping. I think you found your Cluxton here in that game. That's a positive for you. But there was so many goal chances. I'd say there was 4, 5, 6 goal chances the Cork could have, stuck away. There were some easy chances for points as well. I think there was a few at the start of the second half. I think a crucial moment of the game was the Maguire sending off. Dublin reeled off. I think it was 4 points to no score. Then when Lee Gannon got sent off, Cork started to come back into the game then. So that's going to be taught on League Sunday tonight. It's that red card for Ian Maguire. I'm not sure really was it a red card, but look, Lee Gannon got sent off as well. So can't have much to complain about. But the chances criminally missed. But O'Hanlon, you have to take your hats off to a goalkeeper when he makes miraculous saves, and that was David O'Hanlon today. Outstanding performance, and you should be very proud of him. Very good performance from him.
100%. No, I think he was Dublin's man of the match today. To be honest, like I think big saves, kickouts, fairly spot on. Didn't remember any going adrift. And as you said, that save right at the end from Brian Hurley, like to tap it onto the post and keep Dublin, to get the win. Because as I said, like if Dublin had lost that, like trust me, I'd be very angry here on this stream. Like I wouldn't be too happy at all if that goes in the back of the net. So like it was very, very close. Just looking at like talking about that red card again from Ian Maguire, like just a little pullback on Dean Rock, like no malice in it, just a little tug back. Like Dean Rock didn't even go down. He could have carried on and probably put the ball over the bar. Gives it as a second yellow, like very, very harsh. And it's interesting with the officials, like you seen when Armagh were playing Mayo a couple of weeks ago, there was far heavier challenges there, and the referee didn't even give a yellow. And there was challenges there that could have been reds. And here he pulls Dean Rock back. And even as a Dublin fan, like obviously I want Dublin to win. So Ian Maguire gets sent off. Fair enough, that's a bonus for us. But from a neutral perspective and from a Cork perspective, like that's a criminal decision, really.
It is, yeah. Like I know you said it during the stream as well. Rock, if anything, was going away from the goal. So how could you say that was a red card? A second yellow. It wouldn't be yellow, I would say, in a normal game. And it was just frustrating that it ended up that way. The Lee Gannon sending off was a bit harsh as well. But at the same time, we said it in the stream, look, the ref is being consistent. He gives pernickety fouls. I thought the ref was very card happy today. I think he gave so many yellow cards, he gave 2 red cards. I think did he give black? He gave 3 yellows to Cork if you include the 2 yellows for Maguire and obviously the red card. And if you include a yellow for Gannon, 6 yellows and 1 red for Dublin. So he was very, very he loved taking out the book, I'd say, the referee today. For both sides. I thought there was like even the James McCarthy yellow card, it wasn't really a yellow card either. There was a few other incidents in the game, and I hope it gets stamped out of us, to be honest with you, from a neutral point of view, just to keep the game flowing. Like the Armagh Mayo game, a lot of the referee was getting criticised, but I thought he left the game flow there. I don't think he left the game particularly flow here. So that's something that needs to be worked on, say, Congress, not to give particularly yellow cards and stuff like that. And meaning is, like Maguire and Gannon's red cards today were nothing really compared to the Armagh Mayo fouls in the last in 2 weeks ago. So it's a problem the GA need to fix it.
Yeah, and even going back to the first half as well, like another decision that went against you was obviously the square ball goal where Chris O'Jones, like right before half time, again, like that damage down the left hand side of Dublin, plays in the ball. Maurice Shanley finds himself, but as we've seen with the replays at half time, like his foot's a little bit on the line. So yeah, like you can feel rightly, done by there. Like that was another goal that, another decision, in my opinion, that went Dublin's way and certainly went against Cork.
Yeah, like even look in real time, we said during the stream, maybe it is a square ball, maybe Brian Hurley should have fisted instead of Maurice Shanley there. But look at the replay at halftime. This is infuriating. It didn't look like a square ball at all. So yeah, hindsight's a beautiful thing. It was a very harsh call. But even with those calls, Dublin probably still would have won the game. In a way, like they still would have, found a way to win the game, even though that they allowed chances towards the end of it. They still would have had, the temperament to finish it off, in my opinion anyway. I don't know what you think yourself. But it's something that got away from us. But look, we can't blame the referee's decisions. So I know there were poor decisions and all that, square ball, the red card for Ian Maguire. But when you look at our shot percentage, I think it was 41% today. You have to look at that. Look at John Cleary will say that in the interview as well, I'm sure. Look at yourselves. You could have done things differently as well as the referee. You can't let the referee, implement the game that much. So we have to look at that more than the referee decisions. The referee decisions we can't change. We can change shooting stats. That's what we can change.
Yeah, Tom says here, not the best day in the office for today's ref. And Rishi Ryan says, how is a shoulder a bookable offence? And yeah, like obviously the Cork player kind of threw himself to the ground a little bit. I don't know if it was a heavy enough shoulder to sort of knock him off balance completely, and maybe that sort of tipped it in the referee's way. But look, as Matthew was saying there, like he was consistent, and if the yellow card is a yellow card for Ian McGuire, then it probably is a yellow card for Lee Gannon. But then you could argue yellow cards left, right, and centre, yellow card for maybe every foul, really. So very, very poor there from the referee today, I felt. John North says Cork improving and they should do well in Championship. Gannon red card could have cost Dublin, and with Cork wides, Dublin were lucky. Kid Cuddy says Dublin's defence looks shaky against the Division 1 side. That's probably 4 goals conceded. Yeah, like when you think about it, we'd 1 goal that was wrongly disallowed, and then the Brian Hurley chance right at the end. So we could have easily conceded 4 goals today. And even when you think of David O'Hanlon, he makes that big save, but he makes a big save at the start of the first half as well. But yeah, like in terms of Cork shooting, like where do you think it maybe cost? Like, why do you think the shooting maybe was so lackluster? Like, maybe was it pressure a little bit? Like, especially when Brian Hurley's going through there to factor a point down. Like he knows how big of a point that is because it will draw you level in the game. And we've seen him pop over harder chances throughout the game. So what do you think? Was it pressure, or what do you think?
It probably was pressure. Like, usually Brian would pop up if he's on form. Like, he scored 8 points today. If he's on his pomp, Brian Hurley would put them over at ease. So I was just wondering, how did he miss that? It's just so uncharacteristic. Even Sherlock as well. Like, I have to miss chances here. Even like Hurley scored 8 points, but he missed 5 shots as well. So he had 13 shots and he took 8. Maybe that's decent enough. Like Chris O'Jones, he did well today, doing well against Keane Murphy, but he took 4 shots and he didn't take any of them. It's just them sort of things that need to get us over the line. The players will learn, no doubt about that. Sherlock took 1 out of a possible 5 as well. Like, that was the one thing we were thinking at the week. Like John was saying in your podcast as well, Sherlock needs to be in top form. Like, Cork did get close, but if Sherlock was in top form, could Dublin have been in trouble? So yeah, it's something the Cork need to learn. Shoot properly, shoot with accuracy. The defence was good today. I will give it that. We limited Dublin to very little in the game, I thought. The midfield was good, but it's just shooting at crucial moments. That's the big thing with this team.
Yeah, Richie says here Sherlock didn't look fit today. Could be carrying a knock. Yeah, like I was kind of saying that earlier, but I'm not entirely sure. I suppose we'll know maybe when Cork are playing in action next week. Maybe from a Dublin perspective to finish up on them. Obviously we get the win and our shooting in the second half was much improved. But again, just doesn't seem all right with Dublin. Like we are playing Kildare and Cork, who are Division 2 sides, like 2 teams that 4 or 5 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, even we would have put them to the sword. And yes, it is the league, it is early on, but we had a lot of strong players out there today. Like Kieran Kilkenny, fairly quiet, wasn't really in the match. And from what I've seen, Conor O'Callaghan looked all right. Cormac Costello, fairly quiet. Jack McCaffrey, brilliant when he came on. He had that explosive run and brilliant points. But defensively, all over the place. And from a Dublin perspective, and as a Dublin fan, I'm looking at it and thinking, we have a long, long way to go if we are going to compete for the All-Ireland. And look, we thought that last year and then we weren't a million miles away in the end. But you're looking at it and thinking, the problems that we had last year don't look like they're being fixed anytime soon.
I tell you what, about Dublin, I know they performed poorly today, but I think it's going to be a very interesting All-Ireland in terms of that, because Dublin performed poorly today. Kerry, without Clifford and O'Shea, weren't great last night. And if something happens to them, they aren't that great either. Armagh performed poorly enough against Roscommon today as well, and we thought they'd be challenging. Galway haven't had a good start to the league. So I'm going to tell you, Aaron, the All-Ireland isn't over yet. I think Dublin, on a good day, could beat anyone. So there's still that at the back of the mind. I think, unlike the hurling where Limerick are just perfectionists all over the field, in football, I think it's going to be so open this year. Like, you look at the amount of teams, Dublin still performing poorly, Kerry performing poorly, Armagh. Armagh, we were talking about Armagh, but they really should have lost that game against Mayo. I think, speaking of Mayo, I think Mayo are probably the best team so far in it, when you look at the league so far. But then again, there's always Mayo doing Mayo. So you don't know what's going to happen there. But I wouldn't panic as a Dublin fan. I really wouldn't. I know it was a poor performance today. It was a poor performance against Kildare. But you could turn up to Celtic Park against Derry and whip them. So there is that part of the Dublin team. So yeah, it should be interesting to see how they progress in the next few weeks. But today's performance aren't all Ireland worthy. But look at the other teams' performances. There's no time to panic just yet for Dublin, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, the worrying point with that would be the fact that we seen this last year in the league. Now, albeit it was against tougher opposition, we were getting beat by Kerry, Mayo, Armagh, or opening 3 games last week. But like when you actually look at the broad spectrum of things, we could have got beat by Kildare, probably should have. And I thought we were better in this game than we were against Kildare. But again, if Cork had a little bit more accuracy up top, they could have, you could have beat us today. So like that would be a big worry, is that we're not killing teams off either as well. Like we didn't kill Kildare off, and against Cork, like we were 5 points up with an extra man. We should have killed you off. We should have got 6 or 7, and there were even times in the end of that game, Brian Fenton missed the chance. That Colm Basquel chance as well. Like we are playing with fire too much, and look, we're in Division 2, so maybe that's why we're getting away with it. But there's a lot to cut out, I think.
Yeah, there is definitely. Like even the amount of chances you miss, like we were mentioning in the stream there, Kieran Kilkenny's and John Smalls in particular, and the one with Brian Fenton towards the end as well. Like that, those are uncharacteristic misses from Dublin. I know when you look at stats after 69% shot conversion rate is decent, but when you look at those individual chances, Dublin would take those in a heartbeat 2-3 years ago. Now, that would be one worry for Dublin. That really would be one worry that but maybe it's the fact that they're just relaxing a small bit with the Division 2 teams there, Kildare, Cork. Imagine if it was Kerry, Armagh, Mayo, they could be even to their pomp, like, even as I said, like they could whip Derry in the next few weeks with Derry performing so well, and then Dublin not doing much. We've seen it today, actually, this very division, Limerick against Louth. Limerick performed really, really poorly in the last 2 games, but yet gave Louth a game despite Louth putting up to Derry and Clare in the last few weeks. So there is that kind of thing peaking too early at the same time, and there could be something like that with Derry, and whereas Dublin are keeping the cards close to their chest. So there maybe could be that, but I think the misses in front of goal today particularly are a worrying aspect. That's it.
Yeah, Delboy Gunner TV says, lads, thoughts on Roscommon? Yeah, it was a huge win for them earlier, and we will be recording a sort of a reaction to all the games a little bit later, discussing all the games, breaking them down. There's obviously a lot to discuss, so we will be recording that a little bit later. Well, Matthew, cheers very much for coming on to the live watch along. Cheers anyone who tuned in. If they could hit the like button and subscribe, it would be much appreciated. And if you're watching the match reaction after, if you could hit the like button and subscribe as well, that would also be much appreciated. Matthew, cheers very much for coming on, and I suppose hard luck. Maybe next year.
Yeah, so good performance, but maybe next year. Maybe we'll come up with you if we beat Derry and Páirc Uí Chaoimh. But we'll see. Thanks for having me on, Aaron. Enjoyed it.